It's a frosty, rainy Thursday night in Green Bay, Wisconsin, where Packer partisans have jammed Lambeau Field for what could be a farewell party. With the Packers set to renew their NFC North rivalry with the Minnesota Vikings, this could be the last time that Brett Favre will play before his adoring hometown fans. An iconic figure of unprecedented proportions here in Green Bay, Favre has been a record-setting mainstay at quarterback since 1992. Which is why we expect his introduction momentarily to draw such an ovation from the hometown fans.
Running back from Nebraska, number 30, Amon Green. And at quarterback from Southern Mississippi, number 4, Brett Favre.
Though everyone has asked, Favre has yet to say if tonight will be his last game at Lambeau. All he will say is that he still loves to play and that he still has lots of games.
The one word that I would use to describe Brett Favre would be consistent. You never have to worry about him faltering simply because he's going to play his game, and his game is usually played at a higher level than most people on the field. Gunslinger.
Brett Favre threw a tracer to Donald Driver.
Highly competitive guy and feels as though he can make any throw on the football field.
We call him Superman.
Oh, he drilled it between defenders. Goodness.
He's trying to do things the normal quarterback doesn't do.
One fakes, cuts to the end zone. Dives in for the touchdown.
Guy with tremendous heart to play in all these games and not have missed a start in 13 years is unbelievable.
I think the legend just grew.
When you go down, you look at history, 30, 40 years from now, you go back and look at quarterbacks, Brett Favre's name will be up there in the top echelon of quarterbacks of all time.
I've been on the wrong end of a couple Brett Favre comebacks in the fourth quarter.
Brett back to throw. Looking around, jumps it over the middle. Yes! Driver, touchdown! Yes! You talk about clutch performances.
That just kind of adds to the mystique of the Vikings-Packers rivalry.
This is one of the ultimate rivalries in the NFL.
Growing up, being a Minnesota native, I know how important this game is for bragging rights.
It's crunch time. You want to go to the playoffs, you got to win these games.
Minnesota Vikings.
Green Bay Packers. It's a border battle that we will win. Bring it on.
Against the backdrop of what could be Brett Favre's send-off, the Packers and Vikings have a lot on the line tonight. Both clubs need a win to keep their playoff hopes alive. And good evening. Welcome to Primetime Football on NFL Network. Alongside Chris Collinsworth, I'm Brian Gumble. Good to have you back, by the way.
Thank you, sir. Good to be back.
Let's set the details for you. We've got the Packers and the Vikings, two teams headed up by rookie coaches, two teams with 6-8 records, two teams still clinging to slim playoff hopes, but plain and simple, they need a win tonight to keep those playoff hopes alive. But let's get to the real story here tonight, which is this one. Number 4. You spent some time with him this week. This is farewell party?
You know, I guess anything's possible, and I'd love to build the drama here a little bit, but if you're asking me to be honest, I'd say no. I think he's coming back. I really do, because, one, he's made an investment in this football team. They have 3 rookie offensive linemen. They have a rookie wide receiver. They've gone through the growing pains this season. And why would you walk away at this point unless you're hurt or you feel like you can't get it done physically? And you know Brett, he thinks that he could definitely get it done physically.
On the opposite sideline, the Vikings are going with a rookie. By the way, the 201st quarterback to get a start since Brett started his consecutive game streak. He's strong, he's agile, he's mobile, but he's very green.
And he's getting thrown in the deep end of the pool out here tonight. Can you imagine in your first start going out against Brett Favre in this crowd and this environment, freezing rain? We're going to find out a lot about this young man tonight.
And how about this? Tonight we've got Brett Favre wired for sound. This was him just moments ago.
All right, here we go.
Love you, man.
Love you.
How you doing? Good to see you, man. Good luck, huh? I'll talk to you after.
All right.
Woo!
all the enthusiasm of youth. 37 years old, Brett Favre. This game brought to you in beautiful, glorious HD.
Which means you'll be able to see all of Brett's stubble. Every last one of them out there.
He's got more gray in his beard than I do. And I'm a lot older, thank you very much.
He can throw it a little better than you can, though.
The Vikings have won the toss and elected to receive. That is Dave Rayner on your screen. He'll be kicking away to Bethel Johnson. 36 degrees, a pretty balmy night for December in Green Bay. Johnson at his own goal line. Gets it back to the 24 before he is brought down. That's Tavares Jackson over there. Let's set the offense for you. Jackson, as we noted, gets his first NFL start. He is smart, mobile, big, strong, very green, and probably nervous as all get out. Running back Chester Taylor's got over 1,100 yards on the ground this year, but Minnesota's receiving corps has been a disappointment. They lack big play potential. Left guard Steve Hutchison, center Matt Burke. They're the stars of the offensive line. Both learned this week they'll be going to the Pro Bowl once again. 1st and 10 from the 24. Jackson with the give to Taylor, working his way to the 29. Let's set the Packer defense for you. Aaron Campman has just been selected to the Pro Bowl, and deservedly so. He leads Green Bay in sacks. He's got 12 and a half. A.J. Hawk was the team's #1 draft pick last spring. He's played like it. Nick Burnett starts in the middle. Charles Woodson is the team leader with 6 interceptions. Al Harris at the opposite corner has had a fine year. He has 3 picks. He's a Pro Bowl alternate. Williamson in motion. The give once again to Taylor, just barely back to the line of scrimmage before Ryan Pickett brings him down.
And probably no major surprise for Tavares Jackson. Gets to hand the ball off a couple of times to start, just so he can take a deep breath and try and survive this opening. But right now it's about the time you've got to start to find out. He's a mobile young man, and certainly that gives him the huge advantage over Brad Johnson. They like him on bootlegs, they like him on waggles. It's a much more wide open playbook with Tavares Jackson at quarterback.
Jackson operating from the gun. His first throw is complete to Troy Williamson. Up to the 32, but that'll be short of the first. Nick Collins bringing him down, and it'll be 3 and out for the Vikings.
And for Troy Williamson, he's running the shallow cross route, but he ran it basically at the line of scrimmage. At some point, you have to press that one up the field and try and pick up the first down. Pretty good throw by Jackson. Not much of a route on the outside, though.
We're not even 2 minutes of the ball game already. Chris Cluey is on for his first punt of the evening. He'll boot this one away to Charles Woodson. Woodson will let it drop, and the Vikings will down it at the 34. And so Brett Favre brings the Packers offense onto the field. A 3-time MVP. He's making his 236th career consecutive start. Now league's all-time leader in pass completions, and need just 26 more for 5,000. Behind him, Amon Green seems assured of another 1,000-yard season, but it's wide-out Donald Driver who is Green Bay's top offensive threat nowadays. Up front, the Packers boast a pair of veteran tackles in Clifton and Tauscher, but the 3 guys in the middle are learning on the job. The Packers lead the league in starts by rookie offensive linemen. First and 10 for Brett from the 36. Favre throwing wide. Driver with his first catch of the night gets it to the 42 before he's brought down. Gives us a chance to set the Vikings defensively. They start as fine a pair of tackles as anyone in the league, and Kevin and Pat Williams, both are dominant players. Linebacker E.J. Henderson just signed a new 5-year extension. On the opposite side, Ben Lieber has fit in well since coming over from San Diego. In the secondary, cornerback Antoine Winfield, pound for pound, maybe the league's toughest player. Safety Darren Sharper's the big play guy. Fred Smoot gets a rare start. Call it 2nd and 4. Favre looking for Driver again. Check that, looking for Jennings, in and out of his hands on the far sideline. Roniel Whitaker on the coverage.
And Brett Favre certainly coming out firing in this cold, wet, rainy night. And for Greg Jennings, got off to such a tremendous start this season, putting up really big numbers, end up getting injured, comes back, and really the second half of the season hasn't been nearly the kind of big play factor that he was early on.
A kid who led the league, listen to this, led the nation in receptions last year out of Western Michigan. You were down in that field early. How ugly is it?
The field's really not in too bad a shape. The sidelines are nasty.
Favre over the middle, completing. This one to Bubba Franks, working his way down the 38-yard line.
We were talking about the field. Watch Brett Favre. He rocks back almost like a pitcher. Oh, yeah. Like Nolan Ryan on that one. I've seen him do a lot of funny things throwing the football, but that one I've never seen before.
It was almost a balk.
Yeah, it really was, but I bet you he's happy Bubba Franks getting involved after the week the tight ends had last week for the Green Bay Packers. They were horrible.
Give him a 19-yard pickup. Well, the whole Packer offense was horrible.
It was.
Favre skipping out of trouble. Our first flag of the night is on the field as this one falls incomplete. Gene Steratore is our official tonight.
Offside, defense, number 94, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
There's a whole lot of man standing right there in front of you. Pat Williams, Kevin Williams, the two inside guys, and that time Pat Williams, the one that's jumping off sides, but the Green Bay Packers and their young offensive line simply could not handle him the last time they got together, and Pat Williams knew it. He said, I destroyed him last time we played.
Vernon Morency has checked into the ball game. Favre fakes to him, throws it outside to Driver. Driver gets the first down to about the 21-yard line.
And Donald Driver is finally getting the kind of respect that he always thought that he deserved, and I always thought that he deserved. He has been a guy that has lived a full life, from living in the back of a U-Haul trailer when he was a kid growing up in Houston to now reaching the pinnacle in the Pro Bowl, selected by his peers, and it is very well deserved.
4 plays for the Pack tonight, all passes so far. First and 10 from the 21. Favre gives it this time. Green coming wide, cutting it back inside. Trips over the 10-yard line, gets to about the 7. Darren Sharper tripped him up. What looked to be clear sailing to the end zone.
And when Ahman Green was at his best, this was maybe his best play. The stretch play to the outside, Chad Clifton getting out in front of him. And this guy is going to be a very difficult decision this year for the Green Bay Packers, whether or not they're going to bring him back, willing to cough up the big money to keep him. He's approaching 30. We've talked about it in the past.
The third contract.
The third contract. Are you willing to do it?
He said yesterday he'd like to stay here, that he likes it here.
Yep.
They signed him to a 1-year deal back in March, but he's got the same issues looking at him this time. Favre in the arms of Ben Lieber. Lieber was coming. Favre faked the handoff and turned and ran right into Lieber.
Well, Brett Favre earlier in this drive got away with a naked bootleg, and Lieber had seen one too many of them. He's going to come off the right side of your screen, and there's just nobody there to block him. But on the play, Pat Williams grabbed Ahman Green, and that was supposed to be the escape. If the linebacker came, Brett was supposed to just dump it quickly, but Pat Williams' play didn't allow that to happen.
Second and goal now from the 20. Favre has this one batted down. Hard to tell who got a hand on it. Might have been Edwards.
Yeah, it looked like Ray Edwards on the outside, and Brett's looking up at the Jumbotron to see who it was exactly that got it. Chad Clifton doing what he's supposed to do, going down low to try and get Edwards' hands down, but Edwards was able to fend him off and still able to get up and make the deflection.
Edwards, a rookie out of Purdue, a kid who came out after his junior year. Was picked in the 4th round last year by the Vikes. Favre swinging this one wide, incomplete. Beyond the outstretched arms of Ahman Green. The crowd looking for a flag, but there'll be none.
Boy, Napoleon Harris, if he didn't get there early, he got there right at the point that the ball flew over, and when I first saw it, it looked like pass interference to me.
Will be 4th down.
Didn't look like it to him, though. See if anybody gets a hand on this ball.
He did get there a bit early, although it's hard to tell if the ball was past him by that point.
And the pass behind the line of scrimmage as well.
And so Dave Rayner with a 38-yard field goal attempt puts our first points of the night on the board. We're 9:09 to go in the first period, and the Packers are out in front 3-0. A look at the 3 shiny trophies inside the Packer facility. The trophy, of course, named after the legendary coach of the Packers. Packers got the first 2 Lombardi trophies, and then number 4 helped put the 3rd one there. Dave Rayner has put our first points on the board following a 9-play, 44-yard drive.
Well, that ball is going to fall off a few more times. Want to make sure everybody understands the ruling after seeing the play a second time on that last one. You can't have pass interference as long as the ball is behind the line of scrimmage or the intended receiver. And when you look at it, clearly he was still behind the line of scrimmage.
Explain that to the 73,000 referees in the stands, will you?
I'm not loud enough to do that.
So Rayner kicks it away for the second time tonight, and Bethel Johnson moves up to the 10 to collect it. Finds some running room on the far side and is chased out at the 39-yard line by Jarrett Bush. We're back in just a moment with the Packers leading 3-0. Back in Green Bay on a Thursday night, I asked Coach Brad Childress yesterday why Jackson was getting the start over Brad Johnson. He said very simply, gives us the best chance to win. And no, he is not on a short hook tonight. He said he is the guy. He expects to live with the rookie mistakes. Dugan is the up back ahead of Chester Taylor behind Jackson. And Jackson will throw on first down. His first completion to the 45-yard line is to Bethel Johnson. Nick Collins brings him down. Jackson's a guy who has played in 2 games this year. He played against the Bears early in the season, and then last week got into the game against the Jets and actually showed some pretty good work there. Not only getting out of the pocket there and running a bit, but also making some good throws down the field.
Yeah, and my only question was, okay, you can do that in the dome in perfect conditions. How
Soft
about
end of game coverage?
Yeah, how about in Green Bay in this kind of weather? But so far it looks like he's handling the ball pretty well.
They'll give this one to Taylor, and Taylor stutters his way out to the left before Nick Barnett takes him down. Barnett easy to spot with that big cast on his right hand.
The Minnesota Vikings are trying to do a lot of things with zone blocking as they go off to the left, but you can see these are some of the issues that they've been having. It just is not a smooth flow to the left. And when you're talking about zone blocking, it's not really where you have a particular man. You're supposed to move like synchronized swimmers across the field and make a block. But sometimes, as you saw in that one, they can kind of run into each other. And it's been that way more or less this season for the Minnesota Vikings. I think a lot of people thought they'd be better on that left side.
Jackson trying to get out of trouble, and he will not. Al Harris and Aaron Campman with the stop. Campman coming down from his left end position, and Harris coming up from the corner. And it'll be a second 3 and out for the Vikings.
And Aaron Campman working on the outside has to be one of the real surprise players in the league this year. Once thought of as purely a run player. Had a breakout season last year with 6.5 sacks. Follows it with 12.5 sacks this year, going to the Pro Bowl. I don't know that I've ever seen one player improve as much as he has, but he has always been one of those hard-try guys.
And so Kluwe punts this one away. This is Woodson trying to reverse his field and losing his footing at the 30. We'll take a break here and we come back. Brett Favre in what perhaps will be his final home game, taking the field once again. Here in Green Bay, the Hometown fans at Lambeau Field are excited because Brett Favre has led the offense onto the field for the second time tonight. Packers' first drive resulting in a Dave Raymer field goal has the Packers up 3-0 over the Vikings. Favre will give it to Green inside, and he gets one tough yard before he's dragged down. Don't forget, every Sunday, Steve Mariucci and Deion Sanders join host Rich Eisen for NFL Game Day. See highlights and analysis of every game. Watch NFL Game Day this Sunday evening. It's on at a special time, 8 p.m. Eastern, only on NFL Network. Christmas Eve, isn't it?
There you go.
Hey.
Pat Williams came right through the Green Bay offensive line that time, and that was ugly. If they don't get him blocked tonight, they can forget about running the football.
That's a lot of man.
Oh, my goodness.
Favre over the middle, Driver, first down Packers. Driver fighting for yardage, getting close to midfield in the arms of Dwight Smith.
Brett Favre is going to see Napoleon Harris come right in this gap right here and simply throw the ball where he left. He blitzes, and they throw it right to where he was. Just a beautiful job by Brett Favre recognizing the blitz and getting the ball out. That's what you get when you get a veteran quarterback out there.
Not too well disguised by the Vikings either.
Nope.
Driver, 3 catches, 38 yards on the night. A reverse, this time Carlisle Holiday, former quarterback from Notre Dame, throws it up into traffic and is lucky that one wasn't picked.
Well, you called it right. They have the quarterback out on the field in Carlisle Holiday, and he turns around and throws it. Unfortunately, you've got a pretty wise owl back there playing safety in Darren Sharper. Sharper may not be able to run the way that he once did, but he has seen all of this stuff before. You're not going to fool him.
Aren't those the kind of throws that got Bob Davie fired?
Yeah, something like that.
Favre will throw this one. This one isn't going anywhere either. Again, we have Brett Favre wired for sound tonight. The first time he's ever been wired for a live telecast.
Get a shot. I'll throw one up to you. Two jet, green 19. Green 19, sir. 58, sir.
Favre told Holiday, I'll throw one up to you. Holiday told Favre, I'll throw one up to anybody.
Surprised Brett didn't say something after Lieber got that sack. Usually he makes a comment. That's what Pat Williams was saying. Usually he says, great hit, great hit.
First down Packers. This is Ruvell Martin with his first catch of the night. Gets it to the 31-yard line. This is like pitch and catch right now.
I have no idea what the Minnesota Vikings are doing defensively. That time they didn't even cover the slot receiver. They bring a blitz off the outside, but you've got to bring somebody up in man coverage. The Green Bay Packers defensively have been having those same sort of problems this season in communication, and that clearly was just a communication error.
This is Green getting nothing on the right side, and we've got a flag down.
Flags everywhere.
Defense, 12 men on the field. 5-yard penalty. Replay first down.
The Packers tonight, only 3 rushing plays to 11 passes. If it's his farewell party, Brett's going to enjoy it. Favre gives inside. Green once again. Looks like he has another first down to the 20-yard line. And if you're wondering why the Packers have not put it on the ground much, there's a good look at it. This Vikings defense is something else against the run. Against that defense this year, the Vikings runners are being held to 2.68 yards a carry.
Yeah, and Pat and Kevin Williams in the middle have a big role in that as well. Plus these linebackers are run players, not pass players. Like that.
Green for a gain of 1.
There you saw Ben Lieber coming all the way around the outside and catching that one in the backfield before it could really get started. And it really, if you're going to attack this defense, You've got to do it with the passing game because these guys are all made. E.J. Henderson, Napoleon Harris, Ben Lieber are all much better run stuffers than they are pass players. And when you have those two big guys in front, Kevin Williams and Pat Williams, they draw the double teams, which allows those linebackers to run free.
Favre throws this one incomplete, intended for Driver. Batted down by Antoine Winfield.
And Antoine Winfield's one of my favorite players in the National Football League. That guy cannot be bigger than 5'8".
Smallest guy on the team.
And I'm telling you, he's one of the toughest guys you will ever see. How in the world he has never been to the Pro Bowl, I don't know. Donald Driver just tried to go deep on him, couldn't get it, tried to get the slant on him, couldn't get him. And at some point tonight, I'm going to show you how tough a tackler that kid is too. Great player.
One of 8 #1 picks on the Viking squad. He was the #1 pick of Buffalo 8 years ago when he came out of Ohio State. Noah Herron is checked into the backfield. Favre will throw on 3rd down. With time. Throwing outside in and out of the arms of Bubba Franks. Franks had it momentarily, but Napoleon Harris seen the jacket loose.
Well, one of the issues that I really believe that the Packers are going to have to address this offseason is the tight end position. And Bubba Franks has been a terrific player here for a long time, but they simply have not gotten the production out of that position that they have in the past, whether it be David Martin, who's constantly in and out of the lineup with injuries. Bubba Franks clearly getting old, can't push it down the field. That would be my #1 position for the Packers this offseason.
Rayner with his second 38-yard attempt. This one, he slips, and the Vikings come up with it. Rayner seemed to lose his pivot foot there as he came into the ball. And so the Vikings offense will come onto the field after 2 3-and-outs. Tavares Jackson gets another chance. He's trailing 3-0 at Lambeau. Back in Green Bay on what I think is a pretty balmy night for Green Bay, yes, in December?
Oh, baby, I have been here a few other times when it was worse than that. The turf was flying on that last one. Dave Rayner just slipped and drilled it right into the offensive lineman.
Tavares Jackson still looking for his first down of the night. He's throwing long. Intended in and out of the arms of Troy Williamson.
Wow.
What do you need to do?
First of all, what a tremendous throw on this kind of night by Tavares Jackson. You ever question his arm strength, you got a chance to see it there. Threw it right over the top of everybody. And Troy Williamson, who is really a major disappointment. There's just no other way to say it. He had a pretty good game last week, caught 6 balls, but that's a pretty simple adjustment in the air. He was clear of the defensive backs and let it hit right on his shoulder pads. You have to be able to slow up and make the play.
He's had a problem with drops all year. He's got no touchdowns despite his 36 receptions. This from the highest drafted wide receiver in Viking history.
He was the #7 overall draft pick, if I'm not mistaken, and was a part of the Randy Moss deal that sent them out there. They end up getting Napoleon Harris and that draft choice, but Troy Williamson has been benched, and he's come back, and he's trying. And
well, let's be clear. There are problems in the passing game. Brad Johnson was only part of the problem. He didn't have the arm strength to get it down the field. But he was plagued by a receiving corps that has not played well all year long.
But he could have never made the throw that you just saw on that last one. That ball was launched.
There's a look at the 38-year-old veteran quarterback. Asked Tavares about his relationship with Brad yesterday. He said, we're cool. Said he's been a great help to me.
Just watch how far this ball, and that is a sort of Michael Vick-like flip, you know, where it's just not that hard. And Troy Williamson has great speed, ran right by Al Harris, who's one of the best cornerbacks in this game. That's a good sign. If you're a Vikings fan, you're going, oh, that's all right, you dropped out. I like what my quarterback did there.
He'll roll this side and throw to Kleinsasser, in and out of the arms. A.J. Hawk defending.
I bet you Jim Kleinsasser couldn't believe they were throwing him a pass. He's essentially a tackle sitting out there on the line of scrimmage and mostly used as a blocker. This time they roll out, and new quarterback, why not? Take a shot, and I guess that's why he's a blocker.
272-pound tight end.
Yep. Tough night, ball's wet, slippery. We're going to see some drops. We're going to see some struggles out there, but the quarterbacks at least are throwing it pretty well.
Jackson throwing this one and completing it over the middle to Travis Taylor for an apparent first down. We've got another flag on the play.
And Travis Taylor is their best receiver, most consistent catcher of the football, and that's where I would start looking if I were.
He leads them in catches and yardage. Yeah, he does.
Illegal shift. Offense. 2 men moving without resetting. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
You can go in motion, or 2 people can move, but they have to reset completely for a full second before they can move again.
I'm not sure Gene got that right. He said decline 4th down. He's correcting himself now because they had a first down yardage on that completion. So it'll be 3rd and 13 now, as the penalty is accepted, of course. Jackson with time, throws high, but completes to Chester Taylor. He comes about 4 yards short of the marker. And once again, the Vikings will have to punt.
As far as Jackson, though, again, making the right read, he get the thing out to Chester Taylor, a playmaker, with a chance to make a play, and unfortunately he just slipped. But Tavares Jackson has been sharp so far in this game.
Now this field has been resodded down the middle, but we're seeing some trouble with the footing early on. Woodson again from his 12. He's got some room, but it closes fast. He gets back to the 27-yard line. With barely a minute to go in the first. Tavares Jackson, the rookie of the Vikings, being plagued by a couple of drops. And the Vikes trail by 3 at Lambeau. Holding a 3-0 lead, the Packers and Favre will start this possession at the 27-yard line. Seems the rain has stopped here in Green Bay. It's not that bad out here, 36 degrees, only a slight wind. Gets back to the line of scrimmage. Last night, there's a look at Jeff Jagosinski, Packers offensive coordinator. This was him at BC just last night.
I had a great experience here the last time I was here, and I ended up getting this job, and I had a lot of people, players call me and email me and said they were so happy that I'm coming back, and those are guys that I had 10 years ago.
His first head coaching job anywhere, and he is plenty excited about it. He's had a crazy week, though. He got home on Sunday night or Monday morning about 3 o'clock in the morning, went to work at 5 o'clock with the game plan. So it's been busy, but he is pumped about the opportunity.
As we had a flag on the play, he's a guy who spent most of his years actually coaching in the college ranks.
Right.
It's his second tour of duty at BC. He was an assistant there, 97 and 98.
All right, you told Brett.
Yeah,
come tell the rest of us now.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense, number 51. Be a 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
That's Ben Lieber who got flagged.
We've been calling his name a lot, but we were talking about how Jagosinski's hiring is going to impact this football team. Of course, he was brought in with the whole zone blitz, and they bring in all these young offensive linemen, Jason Spitz and Darren College and Tony Mall, and all these guys that they're trying to build this thing on. And now he's leaving, but they're going to stay with the same thing.
And with that flag, we'll reach the end of the quarter. Teams will change ends. Packers out in front 3-0. We'll take a break along with them in what could be a farewell party for Brett Favre. He's on the lead end of a 3-zip score. Back in Green Bay, where the fans here are hoping that history is not being made tonight, hoping that Brett will return for yet another season. But the possibility remains. And the only one who knows is Brett Favre.
Brett's the only one in the backfield right now.
pressure off his backside. This one in and out of the arms of Bubba Franks, his second drop of the night. NFL Network is counting down to the best team to ever win a Super Bowl. Tomorrow night, it's number 16. Yes, that's the 96 Green Bay Packers. You can hear Brett and Coach Mike Holmgren tell the story of their championship season tomorrow night at 8:30 Eastern, only on NFL Network.
I can hear him screaming in downtown Green Bay. 16, are you kidding me? That was the best team of all time. Brett Favre is going to take a little shot at the end of that one. One of the problems of going with an empty backfield is you're going to get your quarterback hit.
Franks with his second drop of the night. Just hadn't been the same player since he had those neck injury and knee injuries last year. Completes this one to Driver. He's popped hard as he crosses the 45-yard line. Boy, Antoine Winfield with a hit. I'm sorry, Chris.
Ahman Green really makes a case right here for keeping his job. Watch him coming up in the backfield. His offensive lineman, Jason Spitz, got beat by Kevin Williams, and he stepped right up and cleaned it up and gave Brett a chance to make that throw.
Driver has just bedeviled the Vikings in the last 5 games. Already tonight, he's got 50 yards and catches. When they met 5 weeks ago, he had 191. Ball comes loose on this one. Picked up by the Vikings inbounds. That's Napoleon Harris. They're calling it incomplete. Well, they're calling it incomplete, or the ball went out of bounds?
Yeah, they're going to talk about that very subject over there for a little while. Remember,
looked like it was Dwight Smith on the hit.
You have to catch it and make a football-related move. Does he catch it cleanly? That's a football. Yes. That's a fumble.
That's a fumble.
That is a fumble. It is. You have to do a lot for it to be a fumble, but that is a fumble.
Now let's see if the ball did
ruling
go
on the field is during the fumble when the defense attempted to recover the ball. 1 foot was out of bounds. Therefore, it will be a forward fumble out of bounds. The ball will be placed back at the spot of the fumble and be second down, Green Bay.
That was Napoleon Harris along the near sideline. We couldn't get a view of whether or not he stepped out, but we have to assume he did. Let's take a look.
All right, here's the rule. If you recover the ball with your foot on the line, you are out of bounds. Just 1 foot on the line, and you are considered out of bounds. Now, did he make the recovery before that? No, he did not. That's a good call by the officials.
Yeah.
Napoleon Harris, another part of that Randy Moss trade for the Vikings. Green not getting anything to the outside, being thrown for a bit of a loss there by Fred Smoot, who's playing in place of Cedric Griffin tonight.
Well, we talked a little bit about this Green Bay offensive line. We should really expound upon it a little bit. They drafted 3 rookies this year with College and Jason Spitz and Tony Mall, and they have been playing a lot up front. Mark Tauscher's had an injury. He's been out for about 5 weeks. Chad Clifton's been banged up a little bit. So these guys have had to learn under fire this season, and they've grown, and they're much better. And Brett's excited about the possibility of where they can be a season from now.
Favre swings this one to Franks, and Franks hangs on and gets the first down to the 43-yard line.
As good as a run-playing defense as the Minnesota Vikings are, they are not great pass rushers. And here's the offensive line we were talking about. One of the problems, though, Brett has had this season is in order to ensure that kind of protection, they've had to keep 7 people in often to try and shore up the protection. And what that does is it means that only 3 guys go down the field in the route. Brett would much prefer a system where they only have to block with 5 or 6 and can get more people out.
Favre with time this time completes to Donald Driver. We've got another flag on the near side as Driver comes up 3 to 4 yards short of the marker.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense, number 98, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
The Vikings just with a lot of penalties and unforced errors and sloppy play so far.
Well, one of the things that you get out of defensive ends in this league is when a back tries to release, the defensive ends will try to get contact on him. That time, Darian Scott grabbing the back coming out. I can remember in the Super Bowl. Remember Marshall Faulk trying to get out against the Patriots, and they were tackling him. Brett with an audible. You can tell by the way Ahman Green stepped up.
He looked for Driver inside, but he and Driver are clearly not on the same page there.
And if those two aren't on the same page, then nobody in this offense is.
Roniel Whitaker actually was in closer position to catch it.
You know, so many times this season it has been Donald Driver or bust, and really the Packers need to begin to develop some other weapons on the outside. Greg Jennings, for the beginning part of the season, was very much in that role. He's really fallen off, though, the second half, at least as far as the big play capability.
Favre with time, directing traffic, throwing back opposite side, Driver wide open to the 17-yard line. Whitaker again on the coverage, but that's too easy.
Well, the reason for the audible, Brett Favre saw the single safety, which meant man coverage on the outside. So then when the Minnesota Vikings pass rush didn't get there, Brett had time to scan the whole field, goes right, and now you know what he's going to do. Forget that. All the way back across the field. And anybody that has ever questioned Brett Favre's arm strength need to watch a replay of that one.
Brett Favre will take a timeout here. We'll go with him. Still 3-0 Packers.
Thursday Night Football on NFL Network is brought to you by Vonage, a better way to phone for less. GMC, engineered to the highest standard, professional grade. Diet Pepsi, live NFL, drink Diet Pepsi. IBM, what makes you special?
I know they still talk about the Ice Bowl in these parts. There's two guys sitting up here who still think that game in Cincinnati it's impossible to get colder than that.
My toes are still warming up from that one.
Favre already with 124 yards through the air tonight on 9 for 17. Driver collecting most of those. He's got 72. Been an easy night for the Packer offense, but they've only got 3 points to show for it. Favre throws this side for Greg Jennings. That's Dwight Smith. Favre had a tough game the other day, Sunday against Detroit. They won, but after it was done, he was ready to play again.
I'm ready to play now. You know, I'm ready to get something going offensively. You know, I'm thankful we played on Thursday. We can play it tomorrow if they want to. I have no problems with that.
That's because he threw 3 picks.
You know what? I mean, that only 2 of them, really. One of them hit Amon Green right in the hands, and he shoveled it to the defender. But that's what I think America loves about the guy, is he really and truly loves to play the game.
And he also says what he thinks every time.
Even if you don't want to hear it.
This one's batted her down. It looks like 3 people got their hands on it. Driver was one of them in the same uniform. Well, looked like a Viking ticked it first. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Chris.
One of the things we haven't hit on are the issues that the Green Bay Packers have had in the red zone this year. They just have been terrible. And I think part of it's the running game. I think part of it's the lack of a tight end. But they're averaging like 2.3 yards a carry, 2.3 yards a pass attempt, only 31%, 35% scoring touchdowns, which is next to last in the NFL. And once again, this is their 3rd trip down here, but they haven't been able to score touchdowns.
That's Franks in motion coming this side. Favre scrambling up into the pocket, lofting this one deep into the end zone for Jennings, overthrowing him.
He was close to the line of scrimmage on that
Very
one
close.
as well.
Very close. That was Udeze applying the pressure on Favre. And once again, Dave Rayner will trot out on the field. He's connected on one 38-yarder, and the other lost his footing, hit somebody in the armpit.
You know, I think so much of Bubba Franks and all the touchdowns he used to score in the red zone, of Mark Chmura, Keith Jackson, some of the great receiving tight ends. And without that, it's really limited them in the red zone.
Rayner keeps his footing on this one, but fails to complete from 34 yards. That one appeared to hit the right upright, and the Packers, a lot of offense, but little to show for to the scoreboard. They're trailing 3-0. Packers are leading 3-0 on a very mild Thursday night in Green Bay. This is the latest in the year the Packers have ever played a night game, and we are pleasantly surprised by the 36-degree temperature.
But if they want to give us a Miami game next year around this time, we'd be all right with that too.
Tavares Jackson and the Vikings with only 27 yards of offense so far. Chester Taylor adding 1 or 2 to that before Ryan Pickett brings him down. The playoffs are on the line next Saturday night when the New York Giants travel to Washington, face the Redskins. That action kicks off Saturday night at 8 Eastern. That'll be our final game, partner.
Yep. Should be a good one, too. You've got to believe that the Giants are going to still be in the playoff hunt in some way, shape, or form at that point.
Who you like tomorrow, Giants or Saints?
I pick the Saints.
Mark Loomis, our producer, just grinding his teeth. 2nd and 9. Big Giants fan. Jackson will throw. This one behind Billy McMullen. Actually looked like Ryan Cook had a good hand on Aaron Campman there as he came around the side. No flag on the play, but looked like he could have. Here's a look at the NFC playoff picture. Go ahead and make sense of that for me, Chris.
Good. Just break it on down for me, will you? You know, one of the ones that's kind of interesting, if the 49ers win out their final 2 and the Seahawks were to lose their last 2, the 49ers would still be the division champ there. So that one's not over. In the wild card, I'm not even going to try to get into it. But both of these teams are still alive and have a possibility at 8-8 of making the playoffs.
Seattle with a tough game at San Diego on Sunday. Jackson looking for a 3rd down completion. Gets this one to Bethel Johnson, but he appears to be short of the 1st down marker.
There's also a flag on the play. Pretty good move by Bethel Johnson to try and pick that one up. Just couldn't quite get there.
Holding, offense, number 74, 10-yard penalty. Replay 3rd downs.
That's the Giant left tackle, Bryant McKinney. Their #1 pick back in '02. I say Giants 6'8", 335, and he had his hands on Kabir Bajabiyamila.
Yeah, and KGB, as he's called around here, Biamila has basically been benched this season. He was once a very highly paid defensive end. Cullen Jenkins took his job and last week had 3 sacks. But Bryant McKinney and KGB have had a few battles over the years, and that time KGB got the better of that one.
KGB had 13.5 sacks just 2 years ago, only 13 in the 2 years since. Jackson backed up, 3rd and long. Trying to get some of it back, completes this one to Noel D. Moore, but he'll be well short of the 1st down. The Vikings will have to punt once again.
And that time, Cullen Jenkins, who comes down inside to the tackle position, had a pretty good shot at Jackson. He just runs right through the blocker inside Artis Hicks. Jackson makes a nice move to get away. Good completion to at least give him a little room out there. But I'll tell you, I like what I see from Tavares Jackson. He does a lot of good things from the quarterback position. And really, the Vikings, you have to say, are lucky.
Downfield, number 78 of the offense. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
You have to say the Vikings at this point are lucky to be in this ball game.
Very lucky.
Favre and the Packers have been going up and down the field, struggling down in the red zone area and just not converting.
How much does this remind you of last week in Seattle?
Exactly.
Where San Francisco did absolutely nothing in the 1st half. Seattle let them hang around, and finally the 49ers figured it out in the 4th period.
Well, if you've seen enough of this series between these 2 teams, you know that typically it comes down to the last 5 minutes of the game almost every time.
Kluwe will boom this one away, and he chases Woodson back inside his own 20. Avoids the 1st tackler. We've got a flag on the play as he's run out of bounds to 35.
The referees are going to get tendinitis tonight.
Man, all of them so far have gone against the Vikings, none against the Packers.
It's like having a 3rd man
during
in the
booth. Kick, holding, number 23 of the return team. The penalty is half the distance to the goal. 1st down, timeout.
7 penalties on the Vikings and none for the Packers. We have 9:15 to play in the 1st half. Packers in front, 3-0. Back at Lambeau with another Florida Gator alum. Their first row.
If I started doing push-ups and sit-ups 24 hours a day, I wouldn't take my shirt off like that in Lambeau.
Packers' first penalty of the night has pushed them back to their own 10-yard line. Brett retreats to his end zone and completes to Amon Green, but he's going nowhere with this one. Give Jamie Mitchell credit for the tackle.
Well, you know, at least the Minnesota Vikings have sort of flipped the field position game now. And you always talk about teams that they try to make the other offense one-dimensional, take away the run, make them throw the ball, but that's all well and good as long as you defend the pass, you know. And I remember Tom Brady playing against the Minnesota Vikings, and they were like the heck with trying to run the ball. Just come in and throw it all over the park.
Well, you see, well, 2nd and 11. We'll get to that in a second. I mean, this one, the Franks pushed out at the 13. That's my problem with so many NFL statistics. I mean, we can sit there and say all we want to about how few yards are given up by Minnesota's run defense, but they basically invite people to throw on them because they're so terrible against the run.
Yeah, and that's exactly. Plus, you're playing against the weakness. I mean, the weakness of the Minnesota Vikings is their pass rush.
Right.
You know, they've really struggled. As great a player as Pat Williams is, you know, he's not much of a pass rusher. Kenichi Udeze on the outside has 0 sacks, which is mind-boggling to me for a defensive end. So they don't do a good job getting after the passer, so why not throw?
Their leader, Darian Scott, only has 5.
Right.
So why not throw against this team? As Favre does again. And again to Amon Green. Will leave them 3rd and short.
Well,
I'm sorry, that was 3rd. Forgive me.
For Brett Favre, he thought he was going to be able to convert that one with a short pass and a run, but the Minnesota Vikings defensively now finally make the play, and they make it in the passing game. You know, they no longer tried to push it down the field. And Brett was saying the other day, he said, you know, this is probably the most conservative I've ever played. You know, I realize that we've got young offensive linemen, we have young receivers, so he's really tried to dump it off more and not have the big turnover. And I think it's kind of uncomfortable for him. I don't know that he really has ever played like this before, and it feels strange to him.
For those who are counting such things, his quarterback rating is not that good this year. It's 74.8, which has him ranked 24th in the NFL.
Too many interceptions, you know. Yep. He's thrown, what, 15 interceptions?
15 interceptions to 17 touchdowns.
But Brett's never going to stop firing. You know, when he gets behind, there are a lot of quarterbacks in this league that'll start dumping it off and throwing screens and worrying about their quarterback rating and padding their stats a little bit. And Brett Favre, as we saw in that one playoff game, remember against the Rams a few years back, what did he throw, 6? Yes, he didn't care. He's
6.
like, you know, I'm going to take my shot. I'm going to try to win the game. If I throw 15, I don't care.
John Ryan punting it away to Mueldy Moore. Moore moves up and fair catches this one at the 40. Coming up next, the Wendy's halftime show. Join Rich Eisen, Steve Mariucci, Deion Sanders, and Marshall Falk for first half highlights and analysis, and to look ahead to the weekend. How about Deion and Marshall stepping in last week?
How about that?
Weren't they good?
They were really good, which is amazing.
I'm forever indebted to them.
They didn't even have boards. They didn't do any of the prep work that you'd have to do for a game. And I was actually in New York, and I'd just taken a flight in there, getting ready for the NBC show, and flipped the game on in the 4th quarter. And I was like, are they doing this from the sideline?
It took 3 guys to replace you.
To replace Dick Vermeil. We certainly hope he's feeling better.
Vermeil, Falk, and Sanders to replace Collinsworth. Completes this one to Jermaine Wiggins, his first catch of the night. A.J. Hawk wraps him up. A.J. had a big game against these guys 5 weeks ago. It's 17 tackles. Hawk, of course, the Packers' #1 pick, 5th overall in the draft last spring.
You know, a lot of times coaches tell me how good somebody is, and I go, yeah, okay. Players of the Green Bay Packers were talking about how good this guy is. They think that he is going to be Brian Urlacher, that he's going to be whichever linebacker, the best of the best you want to talk about, can absolutely fly, as fast a linebacker as there is.
Jackson with pressure from his front side throws this one short to Bethel Johnson, who will be short of the first down. Patrick Dendy makes the stop. I asked AJ about the transition to the NFL and whether he found it, these guys were a lot bigger, a lot faster, et cetera, et cetera. He says no. He says Ohio State is like the NFL, basically.
Boy, that sets up a whole bunch of lines that come to my mind.
But that was his word.
That I'm going to leave alone because they're going to play the University of Florida later on, and I'd be accused of being biased.
He said there's a lot of Buckeyes who went to the pros who live in the area, and they work out with them all the time. And he says, it's such a big program that he was kind of used to the environment by the time he got here.
The standard line is he had to take a pay cut to come to the NFL, but that's just a joke. Just a joke.
Jackson scrambling out of trouble to his right. Seemed headed for the first down marker before Brady Papinga grabbed him and spun him back.
Well, we've mentioned Brady Papinga's name a lot. Remember in the preseason we did some stuff with Mike McCarthy, and he was singing the praises of Brady Papinga, saying that we had to find a way to get him on the field. And that was not a horse collar. He had him around the front and around the back and grabbed the jersey and slung him to the ground. Great play there on a very mobile quarterback.
Jackson finding it tough going in this his first start. No points on the board to show. We've got another whistle.
False start. Offense, number 50. 5-yard penalty. Still fourth down.
What do you think Brad Childers is going to say at halftime?
Guys, you may want to cut down the penalties a little bit. See if we can give this young quarterback a chance who really, I think he's played pretty well. I don't have that much of a problem with Tavares Tillman. I think he's been out there and pretty patient, throwing the ball underneath, making plays, tried to make one with his legs there, but Papinga just got him.
The Vikings, the most penalized team in the NFL, have 40 yards in penalties tonight. They've only got 49 total yards of offense. Woodson with another chance. Doesn't get far. Brought down at the 17-yard line. And we'll take another break with just more than 5 minutes to go in the first half. 5:06 to be exact. Vikings losing 3-0. On a night when Brett Favre may be playing his last home game, Tavares Jackson getting his first start. You look at their numbers right there for Jackson and the Vikings offense. They've been 4 3-and-outs, 5 possessions, 5 punts. But not all of that his fault. He's been plagued by a couple of drops on the part of Minnesota receivers. Packers will run on first down. Green gets it up to the 25-yard line before Charles Gordon trips him up.
One of the problems the Vikings are having right now, because they have been throwing the ball so effectively, they're leaving both safeties back now, and the Packers are playing a spread formation, which is really opening up the edges. So we've seen Amon Green now a couple of times have great success. So every time Brett now sees those two safeties backing away from the ball, he's attacking the edge.
Completes this one to Donald Driver for another first down. Looks like Winfield fighting for the ball down there. Let's wait. Winfield is claiming he had it. They're calling this one a completion in the arms of Driver, much to Winfield's dismay.
Brett Favre went with the double count that time and got Dwight Smith to come down, and so Brett knew exactly then that he had single coverage on the outside and was able to take advantage of it. Now it's a matter of whether the catch was made on the outside by Donald Driver.
Well, looks like it. Well, it never did touch the ground. And it looks like we may get a challenge here. Winfield came in and slapped the ball away, but it's in dispute whether or not the ball ever touched the ground or whether Driver corralled it with his legs.
Well, obviously you're on the ground, but nobody's touched you, so you're not down. So if the first contact was truly with the ball and not the hand or any other part of the body, I guess it would be incomplete.
Minnesota is challenging the ruling on the field of a completed catch. Timeout.
We'll take the timeout along with them and try to figure this out when we come back. Did it touch the turf? We'll know in a moment. Our referee, Gene Sturtor, has gone under the hood following a challenge by the Vikings and Coach Brad Childress. This is either going to be a 1st and 10 for Green Bay or 3rd and 2 at the Green Bay 26. Looked to us like the ball hit the ground.
Well, was the ball the first thing hit?
After review, the ruling is an incomplete pass. The ball will be placed back at the 26-yard line. It will be 3rd down and 2, Green Bay. Minnesota is not charged a timeout. With the game clock operator, please reset the game clock to 4 minutes, 21 seconds.
Remember, Donald Driver is not down despite the fact his knee's on the ground. And my question was, did Winfield hit his hand first? If he'd hit his hand first, then he would have been down at that point. But Winfield hit the ball first, knocked it out. Good call by the official, very unusual play.
Or if he had touched Driver's back with his left hand before slapping the ball with his right.
That was the other thing that we were checking. Did his left hand make contact first? But I don't think that it did.
In any event, with 4:21 to play in the half, it's a 3rd and 2 for the Packers. They'll try to get it on the ground and would appear to, as Amon Green struggles his way before being pushed back by Ben Lieber.
Amon Green still a big, strong guy. That one's going to be close.
Amon made me feel very old yesterday when I spoke with him. He's getting close to tying Jim Taylor a number of marks. I said, do you know who Jim Taylor is? He said, yeah, my dad used to watch him. Thanks very much.
So did we, unfortunately. You know what was interesting, though, about Jim Taylor is that Jim Taylor was a fullback. You know, and nowadays, Jim Taylor kind of guys, they never touch the ball. Fullbacks never get to touch the football hardly ever. And Paul Hornung was reduced to blocking as the running back. And there's a kink in the chain.
They didn't make it by that much. Let's take another look here. Take another look. Yeah, they did make it. There's Jim Taylor. He's in the Ring of Honor here at Green Bay. He was a horse out of LSU, and he is the Packers' all-time leading rusher with 8,207 yards, and Amon Green is just 159 yards away from passing him.
And that was just a big, physical, dominant team. The old Packers sweep and pulling the 2 guards out in front. Classic football.
Completes this one to Donald Driver. What did you tell me, that Taylor was supposed to do the blocking, but Hornung thought he was a better blocker?
Well, you know, Paul, he thinks he's better at everything, so.
Generally he's right.
Yeah, he's pretty good at everything, wasn't he? And, of course, his scoring record just got passed by LT this past week as well. And Paul Hornung and Jim Taylor and Forrest Gregg and all those guys up front. Bart Starr.
Speaking of LT, I got a question for you as we get a whistle right here. Timeout Packers. Let's stay here for just a minute. LT setting, of course, the season record and having the phenomenal year he is. Marty Schottenheimer, his coach, is understandably in love with him, but stood up and said he's the best ever. Exaggeration, you think?
Well, I think it's too early to say that. You know, let's give him a chance to be something. For me personally, it's a real close one between Jim Brown and Walter Payton.
Thank you.
Walter Payton, in my mind, was a little bit like LT in that he could do everything. The one thing that Walter Payton could do better than LT, though, was block. There was a time that Forrest Gregg, when he was the head coach in Cincinnati, came in our meeting room and he called everybody into the room and he put on a tape of Walter Payton. He said, "Gentlemen, I want to show you a football player." And all they were Walter Payton blocks. Not one single run, not one catch, not one throwing a touchdown pass, just his blocks, and they were incredible.
Which is not to diminish Tomlinson at all.
No, and he may get there.
But it's a little early to put him in Canton. Completes this one to Donald Lee. As we've told you, for the first time in his glorious career, Brett Favre is wearing a wire during a regular season game. Let's listen in.
Hey, tempo! Keep the tempo! If you don't get caught, it ain't holding. Hey, he stepped out right there. There you go.
Has anybody ever talked to the opposition more on the field?
It's always good to have somebody on the rules committee, I say.
Favre pump faking this one and throwing high in and out of the arms of Greg Jennings. That was Antoine Winfield, who's having a very active night, slapping that one away.
This is one of the classic moves of Brett Favre here, the old pump fake. You see him do it all the time. And one of the reasons he can do it so effectively is his hands are absolutely huge. And there's Antoine Winfield. We were talking about him earlier in some of his hits. He actually hits harder than that, but that one was very effective. They actually measured Brett Favre's hand when they went to think about making the trade in pre-draft, because they knew with all the cold and the weather here that he needed a huge hand to be able to play in these conditions.
He completes this one to Donald Lee. Clock ticking towards the 2-minute warning. They seem in no hurry to try to get a playoff.
Plenty of time, still have a couple of timeouts, and no issue here for Brett Favre. He's been in this situation many a time, just working it down, and if we score, great. If we don't, that'll be the end of the half.
The Packers been marching it up and down between the 20s, but only 3 points to show on the board for it as we hit the 2-minute warning. They're out in front of Minnesota.
Thursday Night Football on NFL Network is brought to you by GMC, engineered to the highest standard, professional grade.
In this case, it might be the first half highlight. Dave Rimmer field goal.
Defensive highlights, how about that?
Okay.
Was that you whistling underneath that window?
That was me.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, right.
Never heard that before.
I can't whistle at all. I can only reverse whistle. It's true.
Sucking it in?
Yeah, that's the only way I can do it.
He sucked in a few, hadn't he?
Coming out of the 2-minute warning, Favre of the Packer offense looking at 3rd and 6 from the Vikings 47. Favre gunning this one for Greg Jennings. He couldn't come up with it, and the Packers will have to punt.
Greg Jennings, well, maybe it's just I had the wrong angle on it. Didn't look like he really went after that ball with like it was a key 3rd down situation. He was sort of stuck a hand out there, but with a Brett Favre fastball, you better stick more than one hand out, and I'm sure he's learned that by now.
Is it the ankle that's kind of turned his season around?
I guess.
John Ryan trying to drop this one.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh. In and out of the arms of Jarrett Bush.
And if you're wondering, yes, you can catch the ball as long as the punt returner is not there in a position to try and make the catch. And Jarrett Bush had it right in his hands, and there we go back to the old story again. That's why he plays DB.
Every this news from around the league, and you can hear directly from the players. They get ready for the playoffs. We invite you to watch NFL Total Access. That's weeknights on NFL Network. I'm going to give you a rare opportunity, Mr. Collinsworth.
All right.
We got a seat on the plane for you on the way to Oakland.
Yeah.
Want it?
Sure.
Saturday night.
You can take my bags with you.
Chiefs Raiders.
I'd love to call the game, sure, but I know Dick wants to come back and call one.
Tavares Jackson and the Vikings offense seeing what they can get going. In the last minute 45. This one in and out of the arms of A.J. Hawk. Not sure what Jackson saw right there.
Well, he didn't see A.J. Hawk because he was standing right in the way. And A.J. Hawk right out here on the outside is going to drop right underneath this one. Tremaine Wiggins going right down the seam and up. I mean, throw it right to him. It's hard to believe that you can miss somebody that size, but he never saw him. I bet you this is a run.
A.J. had his hands on what would have been his 2nd interception of the year. Nope, and Childress lets Jackson throw again. He throws low this time for Wiggins, who can't come up with it.
And Wiggins almost threw it up in the air to Marquand Manuel.
Much like Brett's interception the other day against Detroit.
Exactly. You know, I actually had one of these myself in my career. Aaron Campman coming around and getting the pressure. Boy, that's pretty close. If that ball didn't hit the ground, oh, it did hit the ground on the back end of it, though, I see. I had one just like that. Diving for a ball, got my hands underneath it, flipped it up in the air, and the guy intercepted it.
You remember who the guy was?
No.
Didn't see the number going past, huh?
Try to forget that stuff.
We've got another timeout.
Second charge timeout. Minnesota. It will be a 30-second timeout.
Tavares Jackson and the Vikings will have to think about it a little bit. These are the key plays so far in what's been kind of a moribund first half. Dave Raymer on his second 38-yard field goal attempt, slipping there. And then this one from 34 yards, hitting the right upright. And Favre and the Packers have had great success marching up and down the field, but they've got only 3 points to show for it. And Jackson and the Vikings not really doing anything on offense.
Well, and I've got to say, I really beginning to question the strategy by Brad Childress here. Now, they're basically, if they don't pick up the first down here, they're going to give Brett Favre the ball back, and he has 2 timeouts remaining and going to have plenty of time to work. If you come out and you run the ball, you're going to get out of here at halftime with a 3-0 situation. A lot of pressure to put on a young quarterback backed up right before the half, and they've been putting the ball in his hands.
For the record, Childress said he did not shrink the playbook for Jackson, that everything was on the menu, but his options are limited here. Trying to slide out of trouble, but not getting there in the arms of Aaron Campman, his second sack of the night.
And you are going to pay the price right here. You had everything going your way for the Minnesota Vikings. 3-0 at the end of this half was a huge win. And now you put a young quarterback back there trying to throw into a dime coverage with one of the best pass rushers in the league after him, and they're lucky you didn't fumble the ball on top of him. Aaron Campbell, what a great, great season he has had.
You know, when we spoke to Mike McCarthy yesterday about his 2 Pro Bowlers, Campman and Driver, he liked it, he said, because they're both guys who weren't first-day draftees. They're both blue-collar guys. And they're both guys who've been rewarded financially. So he thought for his program, they set a wonderful standard, one on offense and one on defense, and they're both heading to Honolulu.
Yeah, and for the Minnesota Vikings, some pretty good players over there as well. Steve Hutchinson, who's come in here and tried to learn this whole new zone blocking scheme. It's still West Coast, but a completely different blocking scheme, and they're going to get there as well.
And as you pointed out, Chris, no matter what happens here, the Packers would seem to get good field position after this. Woodson will field it at his own 45. Hop-stepping his way, looking for some run back across the field. Gets it into Minnesota territory, pushed out at the 45. Give a couple of Packers credit for not getting the clipping.
And there you go. Now you're going to give Brett Favre the ball right back in great field position. Because of the limited timeouts, they could have effectively run out the clock. And now you're giving it back to number 4 at home, and well, you'll be lucky to get out of this one 3-0 now.
He's got 1 timeout to play with. Get this, though, his next pass will be his 30th of this half.
That's what it is when you play against the Minnesota Vikings. You're going to give up the run and drop back and throw it.
Minute 14 and 1 timeout to work with. Favre goes to work, throwing this one and completing to Ruvell Martin, who gets it to the 32-yard line. Packers in the hurry up, Favre saving the timeout.
Brett going again with that double count, and he basically made the Vikings declare that they were going to stay too deep on that play, and he comes back and knows then to throw underneath.
Timeout Vikings. They burn their final timeout of the first half with 51 to play. We talked about Brett's numbers. I'm sorry.
You can hear the double snap count. Brett's going to go through it the first time. This time the safeties don't move. So now he knows that the place to work is back underneath. They've got the 2 deep safeties. He finds the receiver underneath. That's a quarterback working all aspects of the game. We see Peyton Manning do it all the time. We see Tom Brady, the veterans of this league. And I know there's some people out there that are thinking, you know what, why not Aaron Rodgers? Let's give him a shot and all that kind of stuff. But it takes so long to get to the point where Brett Favre is, and you lose all that experience. You basically are going to be starting all the way from scratch at that point with all these young offensive linemen, young receivers. So I don't know. As far as this organization, there's no question their best shot to win in the next couple of years is going to be with Brett.
Couple of years?
Well, who knows? I mean, this guy's a little crazy, and he likes to play.
Favre with time again. Greg Jennings to the 31.
Still needs some help. In Green Bay, a 47-yard field goal is not very comfortable.
Pump fake. In and out of the arms this side of Noah Herron. Stops the clock with 29 seconds to play in the half.
You know, Vernon Morency is a guy that last week scored a couple of touchdowns for this team. And the Packers don't have a great receiving threat out of the backfield. And that's hurt as well. And Morency's one of those guys, I think if they would invest a little time with him in the passing game, might really be able to help in these kinds of situations. He's a quick guy.
Dave Rayner's season long is 54 yards from here. He'd be looking at 47. 3rd and 7. Favre dumps it off to Herron, and he's going to be brought down short of the marker. Will Hunter coming up to make the stop. And the Packers will let this one tick down before they burn their final timeout, bring Dave Rayner onto the field.
Well, once again, for the Green Bay Packers, just struggling to get touchdowns. And that's the reason that you're sitting there at 6-8 instead of on the other side of 8-6, because they've had some close games out here this season that they've lost in the last few moments.
As Rayner comes onto the field, let's keep an eye out on this snap. We saw Rob Davis and John Ryan, Davis the snapper, long snapper, and John Ryan the holder, having a discussion because Ryan felt that the previous 2 snaps were a little high. Here's a look at Davis.
For Davis, this is his 150th consecutive game played, tying Boyd Dowler for 5th most in Packer history. So it's not nerves. This guy's been around.
How good is it to be a long
time.
snapper? It's like being a left-handed reliever in the majors. You know, you can play forever.
Baby, if you can just get it to home plate, you can make a living forever.
This one from 44 yards. Rayner's got the distance, and it's true.
And basically, Brad Childress' strategy cost his team 3 points at the end of the half.
And on the strength of 2 Dave Rayner field goals, the Packers will go to the locker room leading the Vikings 6-0. Young Tavares Jackson going to have to find some answers inside with his coach. Brett Favre, after throwing 31 times in the first half, will go into Ice's arm. We'll be back.
7.
Back in Green Bay on a Thursday night that has some historical implications, possibilities anyway. What could be Brett Favre's last home game has been a sloppy affair for the most part. The Packers have gone up and down the field. His opposite number, Tavares Jackson, the rookie, has thrown the ball well, but he's not gotten any help on a night when the Vikings have been penalty plagued and gotten just 38 yards of total offense. For the Packers' part, they've got 2 field goals, but Dave Rayner has missed 2 others. Slipped on one, hit the upright on the other, and the Packers are leading this one 6-0 in a game that Favre may set historical records in a different sense. He threw 34 times in the first half.
Well, that's what they came to see. Let's chunk it around. Why not? I'm all for it.
Get the ice out, man. Put it on the shoulder.
You know, really, probably the story of this first half, though, has been the play of the Green Bay Packers defense. This is the 2nd straight week that they've played well. I think Minnesota, certainly you would expect their offense with a new young quarterback coming out here to struggle a little bit. I'm not sure I would have expected, 34 yards? Is that what they had in the first half? That hurts.
38, yeah. Also, the they've shot themselves in the foot a couple of times. He had the Napoleon Harris fumble along the sidelines. Very simply, he was the only guy around the ball. He stepped out of bounds as he grabbed it. They've hurt themselves with an excessive number of penalties. They've just been sloppy all the way around. The kid hasn't gotten much help.
And I'm sure that right now Brett Favre is really frustrated on the other side as well, because this is a team that they've been marching it up and down the field, and really for the second straight week now struggling down in the red zone, and you just wonder if they can just start to make some plays, and maybe some chunk plays. You know, we haven't seen many shots down the field, and those that we did see had a chance. You know, Troy Williamson dropping that one ball was probably the best chance that we've had all night for a touchdown.
I misspoke there. I said Favre had 34 throws in the first half. He actually had 33. The 34th was the option pass of Carlisle Holiday. And so the Vikings will kick it away to get our second half started. This is Vernon Morency trying to stick a fork in it at the 3-yard line. He's not getting very far. And the Packers will have to start from deep in their own end.
So we're going to start the second half the same way we played the first half, huh?
Take a look at the first half numbers for the Vikings. They're pretty glaring. Look at that. First downs 14-1, and the penalties the other one. You got to believe that Brad Childress just had a talk with his guys at halftime about that. They're just killing themselves.
Yeah, they really are. But, you know, once again, here we go. The Minnesota Vikings catch a great break on the opening kickoff, and now defensively, if they can just hold Brett right here and force a punt, give their offense some great field position.
Favre will throw from his own end zone. Incomplete, intended for William Henderson, who for so long has been his outlet from the backfield. Henderson, a very good receiver, been here 12 years now.
And William Henderson is just that, a receiver and a blocker. He's had one carry for -5 yards since the beginning of 2003. Only 123 carries in 12 years, so they're not going to hand it to him too often.
He's well rested. Favre gives it up inside. Amon Green not getting much, getting back to the 7-yard line. We'll leave the offense looking at 3rd and 9.
Well, Kevin Williams that time just took Jason Spitz and drove him right back in the backfield. And when you get that kind of penetration, you just are not going to be able to get any sort of plays going at all. These guys have just been too big and too tough all day inside Kevin Williams and Pat Williams to try and run in there.
Favre with plenty of time, finding Donald Driver for a first down up to the 20.
Boy, that was a great play that time by Donald Driver, and the offensive line gave Brett enough time there to sit and wait for Driver to work his way all the way across the field. That time Donald Driver was really covered during the early part of that route, but the protection gave Driver time to keep working, and Brett finally found him.
Driver just loves playing the Vikings. 191 earlier. He's already got 91 in this one. With that, his 7th catch. Oh, boy. Almost picked off by Darren Sharper. Right into his arms.
And Darren Sharper knows a thing or two about playing with and against Brett Favre over the years. And really, he's a guy, a veteran guy that you have to watch. He will not be where you think a safety should be all the time. And that time he missed a huge opportunity to give his offense a chance.
Driver heading for the locker room will try to get word. Amon Green getting stacked up in his own backfield. Darian Scott coming in for the stop. Here was the previous catch by Driver. Try to see if there's anything that hard to see just what the problem might be.
Like he was dragging his right arm going off the field a little bit, but it's just hard to tell. Don't know. I'm just not going to speculate. We'll let you know when we know.
You didn't get your medical degree?
No, Being a dad, I should have one, though.
Favre throwing downfield and overthrowing Carlisle Holiday.
Boy, the Packers are really thin at wide receiver without Donald Driver. So much of this season, it's been Donald Driver or bust, and now they've got a collection of guys out there that I don't think Brett's really familiar with. Carlisle Holiday was a quarterback in college, and Pavel Martin on the other side, and Greg Jennings, a rookie, and not very deep right now at receiver.
And so the Packers forced to punt. This one will go out of bounds just short of midfield. We'll come back. First possession of the half for the Vikings. After here in Green Bay, the Brown County Courthouse, all dressed up for the holidays, gives us an opportunity to wish you and yours all the best health and happiness for the holidays and beyond. The Vikings with their best field position of the night. You look at that graphic, they've gone -2, and you're taking the penalties and the net yards. This is Chester Taylor getting some positive yardage. Give him a gain of 5. 40 yards in penalties for the Vikings in the first half, just 38 yards of offense.
We talked about the zone blocking scheme where basically everybody moves to the right and then the back just finds a hole between them. That time they had it synchronized pretty well. They all move out together and Chester Taylor just finds a running lane in behind it. That's how it's supposed to work when it works well.
I like that. Synchronized swimming, right?
There you go.
Give Taylor a gain of 4 on the last one. He gets it again, close to the first down marker, as he's brought down inside the 40 of Green Bay.
You know what's interesting about this, Brian, is that they're running to the right. All their big money players on the offensive linemen are to the left. Bryant McKinney and Steve Hutchinson, who coach came over from Seattle, and Matt Burke going to the Pro Bowl. And the guys on the right, Artis Hicks and Ryan Cook, the rookie, are the guys that, you know, they basically are trying to hide. But defensively, the Green Bay Packers overshift to the good offensive linemen, so it kind of forces you to go back the other way.
You get a look there at Hutchison. He's part of what was a big spending spree for the Vikings this year. They went out and got on not only Hutchison, but also Chester Taylor and Ryan Longwell and Ben Lieber. These guys were supposed to turn it around in Minnesota. It hasn't happened yet.
Well, he struggled. I just tell you straight out, Steve Hutchinson struggled when he first got here. In Seattle, they ran a West Coast offense, but they ran man blocking. And here they run this zone blocking scheme, and it was driving them a little crazy early on. But now I think that they're starting to get it.
3rd and a little more than a foot for the Vikings. Folks at Lambeau are into it. Minnesota tonight 0 for 6 on 3rd down conversions.
See if they stay right or go to their money side to the left this time.
Taylor would appear to have it. And that is just their 2nd first down tonight. This game being brought to you in HD on the NFL Network. When we're done here, we're going to pack up our bags and head west. We'll be in Oakland Saturday night to watch the Chiefs take on the Raiders in a renewal of that rivalry.
Yeah, there are not a lot of personalities out there in Oakland in that crowd. I hope you guys can find some flavor shots out there, you know?
Yeah. Be a love fest between Adam and Art Shell, yeah. Tavares Jackson with some operating room for once gives this one to Taylor and finds something that's working off that right side. Another gain of 4, perhaps 5.
You know, it's one of those stadiums that really, I think everybody in America on their list of 100 things to do, that helmet's a little tight, on their list of 100 things to do, see a football game at Lambeau Field. I mean, really, this is just one of the cathedrals in this country, and they love their football in Green Bay.
We got to get to the other 99.
Yeah, that gets a little strange, though.
Jackson will throw. He's being pressured, lets it go, and completes it to Chester Taylor. Cullen Jenkins had the pressure, and that's one of those Brad Childress would prefer he had not seen.
And Brian McKinney over there working against Cullen Jenkins, and I don't know what happened to him. He just let him go right by inside, and Cullen Jenkins 3 sacks a week ago. But how about the play by Tavares Jackson from his back? That looked like Brett Favre there.
I asked Childress, I said, do you expect to have to live with the rookie mistakes? He said, well, there's a reason they're called rookies.
Yeah.
He's got Moelde Moore behind him now. Picked this time by Charles Woodson. We've got a flag on the play as Woodson brings it back to the 40. Crowd's cheering, but we'll wait to get the call.
Holding, offense, number 79. The penalty is declined. First down, Green Bay. Timeout.
Artis Hicks, the guilty party. Charles Woodson with his 7th interception of the year. Packers in business. So we come back leading 6-0. Former Heisman winner Charles Woodson got the pick and awarded a Christmas present to a young fan. And while we're away, Donald Driver came back from the locker room. He's back in the lineup. And Favre going for Greg Jennings.
Yeah, that was a heck of a play on the outside there by Charles Woodson. And now with the 7 interceptions, a couple of guys in the league, Asante Samuel and Champ Bailey with 8. But Woodson has really been playing in a lot of pain this year. His whole left side, his left shoulder's in a harness. He can't raise his arm, can't extend it. Left knee, left toe. He said, I'm just trying to make it through, guy.
He's a guy a lot of people thought would make this Pro Bowl this year, but he didn't get the call.
Including him.
This is Green. Packers been having some success running wide right, but none there. Green stacked up for a loss of 1.
And Antoine Winfield coming up and making a big play there. There's Woodson on the sideline, and really Deion Sanders in the pregame show tonight made a great point, basically saying that he thought Woodson and Al Harris were the best tandem of corners, and well, actually, guys you don't hear much about, but they play so much man coverage and they're expected to do so much. I don't know. One of those guys should have been in the
They were actually talking about bringing the other guy no matter which one made it. The other one said he was going to treat the other one. Turns out neither of them made it. Harris is an alternate, we should note. Favre again with time and again looking over the middle. Antoine Winfield defending. He's having a great night.
Antoine Winfield's having a monster night. I think he made the play on the run the last time in the backfield. Comes right back in man coverage and knocks this ball away from Driver. Again, and playing the slot receiver like a Donald Driver, grabbing his shoulder pads and basically throw him to the ground, and Winfield still made the play. He gets the most out of...
He's listed at 5'9", 180.
I'm just telling you, he is 179 pounds of heart then.
Ryan will punt it again. This one bounces at the goal line and goes in. Once again, Jarrett Bush, a study in frustration, trying to get him pinned down. The Vikings coming back on the field when we come back. And the most wonderful reindeer of all. Can you name the other 8, by the way?
No.
Yes, you can.
Comet and Cupid and Dancer. And
Dasher, Dancer, Donner, Blitzen, Comet, Cupid, Donner, Vixen, something like that.
Now, why would you ask
something
me
like
that? Just
I don't know.
Show how dumb I am.
No, I just was curious. I think I said Donner twice anyway, so.
Good.
70,000 in full throat as Jackson comes up on first down in the arms of Aaron Campman, struggles his way back to the line of scrimmage.
You know, so many guys after they get paid, and Aaron Campman got the big contract this year, and so many guys fall apart the next year. I don't know what it is. You go out and celebrate, you spend the money, you buy a new house, you buy a new car, whatever, and you have a worse season. But Aaron Campman got paid, and he's having a monster year. Yeah. And he still has some grass and has a souvenir to take home.
And you know what? He cringes at that term overachiever because he says, you know what? I mean, he was a guy clearly now who has talent. Let's stop the overachieving stuff. He has talent and he works hard.
He does that.
We've got another flag. Jackson throwing long. Wide open is Taylor. comes up with it. Great catch by Travis Taylor, but we'll wait to see what the call is.
Illegal shift on the offense.
Wow.
2 men moving without resetting. Wow. 5-yard penalty. Replay second down.
You know, you just don't know how much of this is a product of having a new quarterback and his being impatient and not allowing the guys to get set, you know, or checking it. You know, a lot of times the quarterbacks will go out there and they'll make sure everybody's set before they start the process. This is the second time tonight we've seen it, but that took away their only offense of the evening. I mean, that was the big play that this team was really looking for.
And this is the reason they drafted Jackson. Make no mistake about it, this isn't just a find. This was the 5th quarterback taken in the draft, and the Vikings traded a draft pick, moved up 19 spaces to get him out of Alabama State. It negated a 43-yard gain, that penalty. Jackson completes this one again to Travis Taylor, but he's going to be short of the first down marker.
You know, we've seen a lot of quarterback changes this year, and I think the big reason why is mobility. And certainly when you're talking about Bledsoe to Romo, that was the case there. And Matt Leinart has better mobility than you think. Jason Campbell, certainly that's been a factor. And the other 2 guys are obvious as you go down with Vince and Tavares. So when you have a young quarterback coming in, you force the defense to cover more ground on the field, but they also have to be able to complete those passes in key situations. And we've seen a little bit too much of this.
And we're going to get a timeout here. Jackson and Childress will talk about it. Vikings still on the short end of a 6-0 score in the 3rd period.
Thursday Night Football on NFL Network is brought to you by Vonage, a better way to phone for less.
See, Collinsworth, that's the way you run the sweep here. You get Thurston and Kramer out in front of you. Give it to Jim Taylor. Everybody knows what's coming. They can't stop it.
The problem would have been the guards would have outrun me.
Jackson giving to Taylor, striving for the first, but not getting there. A.J. Hawk coming up with the hit. And then joined by 3 other Packers will leave the Vikings a yard short, and they'll have to punt.
Boy, what a great play by A.J. Hawk to just take him head on and keep him right there. That is just classic form tackling there. The hit comes in, the contact, and Chester Taylor did a nice job trying to drive himself forward, but we talked about how good a player that young man's going to be, and you saw it there.
Cluey chases Woodson back to his own 22. He'll step out on the sideline as he crosses the 35 and approaches the 40. NFL Network is counting down to the best team to ever win a Super Bowl. Tomorrow night, it's number 16. That's the 96 Green Bay Packers. You can hear Brett Favre and Mike Holmgren tell the story of their championship season tomorrow night at 8:30 Eastern, only on NFL Network.
Boy, did those 2 guys go at it over the years. Holmgren and Brett Favre, it was like a taming of the shrew. The guy just, he knew he had to break Brett, and Brett was unbreakable for a long time, and he was going to do whatever he wanted to do. Some of those NFL Films conversations between those 2 on the sideline were priceless.
It was nice to see Brett going over and give Mooch a hug.
Oh, yeah.
Before the kickoff.
Of course, Mooch, a big part of that development as the quarterback coach here as well.
Favre has this one picked on the far side. Fred Smoot. Fred Smoot, only Favre to beat. Touchdown, Vikings.
We talked about the youth on the outside. Greg Jennings never got the audible, never turned around. Brent was expecting a hitch on the outside. Fred Smoot in his zone saw it coming all the way, and just an easy catch, an easy interception. And that's what you get when you deal with rookies on the outside. For whatever reason, he didn't hear it, didn't get the communication, and Brett Favre throws a pick.
And just like that, the Minnesota Vikings, who have been absolutely woeful on offense all night, find themselves leading in the ball game with 5:10 to play in the third period. Following an interception return for a touchdown by Fred Smoot, they're out in front 7-6. Fred Smoot getting a rare start at quarterback tonight because Cedric Griffin, the starter there, is out with a stinger. Smoot picking this one off and taking it back 47 yards and getting rejected in the end zone.
What do they do at Wrigley? If you hit a home run, they just throw it back. They just threw Smoot back.
That's the first touchdown of Smoot's 6-year career.
Whoa!
Oh, what a stick. Vernon Morency.
Guess who?
Antoine Winfield.
There you go.
My goodness.
There's one of your star defenders chasing a kickoff. I told you could hit. I told you I'd show you a big hit. Folks, next time you're filling out your Pro Bowl ballot, put him on it.
Oh.
That is playing football. That kid is a stud. Perfect. Wow.
The Vikings have just 67 total yards and 2 first downs, but they have the lead with 5 minutes to play in the third period. Favre goes back to work. Throwing long, and this one into the arms of Darren Sharper.
Unbelievable. Once again, miscommunication. Greg Jennings stops on the route. Brett throws it down the field, and you come up with your second interception.
You put this one on the receiver.
Well, I don't know exactly what happened. Watch this. Jennings is going to stop, try and sit in the hole. Brett throws it like he's going deep, and Darren Sharper's just sitting down underneath it for the fair catch. I mean, the communication problems that this team is having on offense right now is over the top, and I think that was a frustration throw by Brett Favre right there. He was mad over the last interception. He comes back, tries to get it back in one throw. Poor decision by him. It wasn't there. I'm not saying he's totally at fault, but that was a ball that he should not have thrown up. And we've seen that before out of Brett Favre. We saw it in the playoff game in Philadelphia.
He keeps both teams in it.
He does. He made one of the most grotesque throws in overtime to lose that one that I'd ever seen. I made the comparison earlier this year with Rex Grossman. I said, he's got a little Brett Favre in him now, and I got flooded with emails. Was that an insult or a compliment? What were you saying? And I was like, yes, it's a little of both. You know, he goes for things sometimes that he shouldn't.
That drive starts with a Chester Taylor run, and Jackson scrambling in the hole, throwing this one wide and out of the reach of Jeff Dugan.
And right now, the Green Bay Packer defenders have to be absolutely sick, saying, are you kidding me? We're pitching a shutout here. Not only are we pitching a shutout, these guys haven't moved the football at all, and we're behind on the scoreboard. If we just don't send our offense out there, we're probably going to win this game.
It'll be 3rd and long for the rookie quarterback out of Alabama State.
Be careful here now. Al Harris, Charles Woodson.
Bad snap. Jackson gets the handle on it. Lofting it downfield in the tight coverage. Woodson on the coverage almost came up with it. The Vikings, it's another 3 and out. And Travis Taylor, the intended receiver.
Woodson that time blanketing Travis Taylor on the other side.
The Vikings receivers just can't get any separation.
They really can. And Charles Woodson and Al Harris and Nick Collins, and they had simply taken away the receivers down the field.
Been a busy night for Woodson. He'll get a chance to return this one. Tries to split the defenders and does. Gets past the first wave. We've got a flag down behind him as he gets back to midfield. He'll be caught from behind as he crosses midfield and gets to the 47. We'll wait to see what the flag is back at the 20.
Well, you see why they gave that young man the Heisman Trophy. One of the first defenders to ever get
During
it.
the return, illegal block in the back of the return team. Penalty is half the distance to the goal. First down.
This one comes all the way back. And you'll see it just to the right of the screen. Wasn't much if that was it. Oh, no, this is it. Right in the middle of your screen. There it is.
Guess who it is, too? Our guy, Jared Bush.
We might want to rethink this special teams operation.
Well, honestly, I was talking with Mike Stock, the special teams coach, and I said, you know, tell me who the best special teams players are, and Jared Bush was one of the first names that he mentioned.
Oh, well.
Oh, well. Donald Driver out of the game now.
That one negated a 35-yard return. This is Green.
And guess who?
Yeah, I was about to say, guess who coming up to make the stop.
I mean, you talk about how good this run defense is for the Minnesota Vikings. I'm telling you, this run defense isn't at record-setting pace if it's not for that 180-pound cornerback coming up and making plays like that. He's been doing it all night. He's been doing it all season. And for some reason, nobody knows his name.
Favre has thrown interceptions on his last 2 throws, but he figures to be throwing here. And he does not. Gives to Green. Green getting maybe a gain of 2. Brought down at the 15-yard line.
Boy, they're really struggling to try and get Kevin Williams blocked inside. Tonight they've been doubling Pat Williams, the nose tackle, and it's been Kevin Williams who's been eating them up. There you see the zone blocking once again, and Darren College tried to pull out in front of him, and basically Kevin Williams has enough speed and quickness to just get in behind it.
Morency has checked in the ball game behind Green, and it's Vernon Morency who will get it and get the first down as he works his way to the 21-yard line. Give Antoine Winfield another tackle.
Well, Antoine Winfield plays basically like a linebacker inside. He's out there playing in the slot on the receiver, sees the run coming, and just another devastating tackle. That one a little bit late, but I think if you're going to run against the Minnesota Vikings, that's when you have to run. When they get in their nickel and dime package, take some of the big guys out, it gives you some opportunities. Good call there by the Packers.
This is Morency again, getting back across the line of scrimmage before Ben Lieber brings him down. Morency, an interesting guy. He's a guy who spent 4 years in the Colorado Rockies organization as a center fielder before deciding that he probably couldn't hit the curveball as well as he should have, and went to Oklahoma State. Then came out, spent some time with Houston Texans, and has come here and seems to have found a home in Green Bay.
Oh, Uncle Charlie's driven many a guy out of that game, hasn't he?
That nasty hook.
I couldn't hit it either.
Green is checked back in, and he finds Ruff going off the right side. He's going to leave the Packers looking at 3rd and 4.
And somebody better find a way to get Ben Lieber blocked off the edge. They basically are just crashing their outside linebackers. And despite some pretty good blocking inside, they're getting a little bit of a push. But Ben Lieber is just looping around the outside and making tackles. Sorry about that. Sometimes you pick up things you shouldn't.
Favre with time, in and out of the arms of Donald Driver. And the Vikings will get it back again.
Was that a little, that looked like pass interference to me, and I think Donald Driver is going to agree with me. A little pressure on Brett Favre inside. But just before the ball got there, I thought that there was contact made with Driver and sort of pushed him off the ball, which would have resulted in a first down.
Fielded on a hop by Muelde Moore, evades one tackler, but he's going to be forced out at the 26-yard line. We talked about the Packers and the Vikings basically with a mathematical opportunity to still get in the playoffs, but things would have to break right for them. There are a number of 6 and 8 teams on the bubble, not just them, but also the Panthers, who've kind of imploded. and the Rams and the 49ers, who of those teams are probably playing the best of the 5.
Yeah, and still have a chance. Seattle has to play San Diego, so this could very easily go down to the last weekend of the season. Who knows? This has been such a crazy year this year. I've never had a worse year picking games in my whole life. Every time I think I know something, it's just like it just goes the opposite way.
Well, Tavares Jackson hasn't had a lot of things break his way, but he is leading right now 7-6. He gives this time Chester Taylor, and he gets a good pickup off the left side before Cullen Jenkins brings him down. And with that, brings to a close the 3rd period. Vikings out in front, 7-6. We'll come back to start the 4th right after this. Getting set for the start of the 4th period here at Lambeau Field, and what has been kind of an ugly ball game. There's no way to dress it up. You take a look at those numbers. The Packers' numbers on offense dwarfing those of the Vikings, but it's the Vikings who are leading on the scoreboard by 1, 7-6. Taylor once again being pushed back, this time Cullen Jenkins, who has to be the biggest bargain on the field. This is a guy who's playing for the bargain basement price of $425, and at the end of this year he is an unrestricted free agent, and he will get paid.
Yeah, he is, and I guess there's some question, what's his best position? He's playing defensive end, and the nickel situations, they move him back inside, but really a hard try guy. Of course, Chris Jenkins' brother, who plays with Carolina, and he's gotten a chance to start, and in the past few games, boy, he's certainly made a name for himself.
Taylor trying for the first down on the left side, but he's not going to get there. Yet again, the Packers are stopping him, and yet again, the Vikings will turn it over on downs. Marquand Manuel first to get there.
Once again, the Packers getting good penetration, and looks like Charles Woodson's struggling to get off there. But it was A.J. Hawk who came through and took out the lead blocker on that play that really forced the bounce out to the outside. And Hawk's the one that made the play. But this is news here for the Green Bay Packers, because I tell you, that guy right there, Charles Woodson, has had a tough physical year, and you just have to wonder. He's sort of staggering. You got to think he got a shot to the head, but you can see the wrap on his left arm there with the shoulder harness. He literally can't extend his arm out or up in the air, but still has an interception tonight.
And he won't obviously be going back to receive this punt. Greg Jennings has been enlisted for that duty, and he's positioned at his 22-yard line. Jennings will field it at the 25 and step out as he crosses the 32-yard line. We've got a flag once again on the field. Minnesota now with 8 3-and-outs and 10 possessions. Preliminary indication is a holding call.
Holding, number 46 of the kicking team. The 10-yard penalty will be assessed on the end of the run. First down, Green Bay. Timeout.
And so Brett Favre will come on out and see if he can get something going that can finish up with some points. They're trailing 7-6.
Thursday Night Football on NFL Network is brought to you by Coors Light, Rocky Mountain Cold Refreshment, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. The Home Depot, you can do it, we can help. Nike Plus, get connected to a new running experience at NikePlus.com.
Favre and the Packers will start this drive at their own 42. Favre in the 3rd period just 1 for 9 with 13 yards and 2 interceptions. He'll give it to Green. Nothing doing off the right side.
And that just doesn't work. This is going to be Brett Favre time, and he's done it so many times in the past. In the 15 years before Brett Favre got here, they had 92 wins. In the 15 years after, 146. Only 3 winning seasons in the 15 years prior to when he got here, 12 since. Losing seasons, you see, division titles 0 in the 15 years before he got here, 6 since then, and playoff wins 11-1. So Brett Favre's been here. He's not played well tonight. He didn't play well last week. It's time.
Screen, Green. Getting back to midfield, close to the first down marker. He'll come up 2 yards short. E.J. Henderson brings him down. You talked about when Favre took over. You might recall what was going on back then. You were just a kid, right? Sing a little bit End of the Road for us, will you?
Oh, please. You know how unhip I am.
$1.13 a gallon. Tavares Jackson, just 9 years old, back in Montgomery, Alabama. Tavares, interesting guy. He was telling me yesterday that he wanted to play quarterback. Auburn wanted to recruit him as a linebacker. Alabama wanted him as a safety.
Really?
He wanted to play quarterback, and so he went to Arkansas, competed against Matt Jones, decided he wasn't going to get playing time there, transferred to Alabama State.
It's worked out pretty well for him.
I guess so. Favre completing this one to Donald Lee. Lee working his way to the 26-yard line before being dragged down. Dwight Smith on the coverage.
And Fred has me saying, thank God a tight end caught the ball. Look at that. Donald Lee getting a chance tonight because David Martin, inactive with an injury. He jumps up and catches that thing with his belly and wraps everything around it.
And the Packers in a bit of a hurry up here, trying to change the tempo of this ball game as we move close to the 11-minute mark. Oh, that one's going nowhere. Kevin Williams coming across and saying hello to Vernon Morency.
For Morency, he's got to be saying somebody just put a finger on him somewhere. Kevin Williams has just been living in the backfield tonight. That time, just no chance. Jason Spitz thought his back was going to the outside. He cuts back to the inside. I've got to think that one's on Morency. When your offensive lineman jumps that far to the outside, tries to get position, he had position. Then when Morency bounced it back, he's like, hey, you're on your own, babe, if you're going to go that way.
Loss of 3. We've got a timeout, Green Bay. They'll burn their first of the half. With 10:30 to go in a ball game, the Packers find themselves trailing 7-6. For a time, it looked as if Brett Favre was going to set a personal best for attempts and completions, but he slowed down quite a bit after throwing 33 times in the first half. He's still throwing 44 on the night.
I bet you he picks up the pace here in the fourth quarter. He's going to start throwing it again.
You would think so, wouldn't you?
Yep.
Favre getting pressure off the side, escapes, throws back the other way, overthrowing. Ben Lieber was the one with the pressure.
Once again, the Packers going empty backfield, which basically means you can't pick up everybody. Ben Lieber is going to come off the bottom of the screen. They slide the protection away from him. Brett just makes a miss, but tries to step into that throw and just couldn't get enough on it. And right now, the Packers have to begin to think, are they close enough for a field goal opportunity? They don't necessarily need this first down, but they need to get it a little closer for Rayner.
He's looking at a 47-yarder if they get nothing on this play.
Don't get greedy here. Take 6-7 yards and set up your field goal kicker. Right there.
That's exactly what they did. Donald Driver in the arms of E.J. Henderson.
But there's going to be
a roughing the passer.
I think it's going to be against Napoleon Harris.
Personal foul, roughing the passer.
Yes, sir.
Number 58 of the defense. Helmet contact, 15-yard penalty added to the end of the run. Automatic first down.
Helmet-to-helmet contact of any kind on a quarterback in this league, and what a huge break. It was not going to be a first down. Now it will.
Napoleon Harris not having the best of nights. Remember, it was Harris who had a fumble all to his lonesome back in the second period and stepped out of bounds before he put his hands on it. And now with the penalty that keeps the Packers drive alive and moves them down to the 12-yard line.
And Brett Favre, when he's needed it most, and I don't think Brad Childress likes that call.
I can read that, Lips.
But I thought it was a good call. It was definitely helmet-to-helmet contact. It doesn't matter what kind of helmet-to-helmet contact it is. You're going to get that call. But now for Brett Favre, you have to remember this is a 7-6 game, and you've got an offense for the Vikings that have done nothing all night long, so you can't take big chances here.
Amon Green is the deep back. He'll get it on first down. And he'll get just barely back to the line of scrimmage. In case you're just joining us, Brett Favre, wired for sound tonight.
Hey, Greg, if you catch a crosser out of something, I know we talked about getting out of bounds, but if you can get 5 extra yards here, just go up. Hey, somebody make a play now. Let's go. Let's go. I went back, looked at him. He was going, then he stopped.
It's the 10 to the 29.
Hey, a lot of football left. It's 7-6.
Exactly what you had alluded to. He was going, then he stopped.
Yeah.
Talking of Greg Jennings.
And one time he should have stopped and he was going.
Loss of 1. Favre gets it out quick to Driver. He's dropped at the 9-yard line.
I guarantee you, when times start getting hard or the game gets close, there's only one guy on this team that Brett Favre trusts. And you know what? Defenses know it too.
Well, isn't that part of their problem in the red zone? Their tight end play has been so poor this year.
Their tight end play, they don't run the football well. They don't have a second receiver to draw some attention away from Donald Driver. It's all underneath stuff. Problems with protection with the young line.
Favre, pump fake, goes back the other way. Into the arms of Bubba Franks. Ball comes loose. We've got a pile up at the 3-yard line. Vikings ball. What were we just saying about tight end play?
That's where you have to make plays if you're a tight end.
Look who comes up with it.
That doesn't surprise me at all. Watch this. Gotta be careful. Oh, they're spiking it. You know, they've got rules against taunting other players. As much as I like Antoine Winfield, there comes a time to just take it over the bench and enjoy it with your teammates over there, but he keeps making plays. Boy, for Bubba Franks, this has been a tough night. Makes the catch, tucks it away, ball's out, no question about it. Wasn't across the line, and Winfield a spectacular dive.
And you know what?
To get on it.
We busted Napoleon Harris for the helmet-to-helmet. That was Harris on the hit, knocking it free from Bubba Franks.
We talked about in the 7-6 game, you can't take a chance. Brett made a great play, and Bubba puts it on the ground.
But with a rookie quarterback, they're back to their 3-yard line. He completes this one to Travis Taylor, but they're waving it off. Ball hit the turf.
Boy, oh boy, how much does Brad Childress trust his young quarterback, Tavares Jackson, to let him throw it off the goal line here? I guess he's just going to find out right now what he has. You know, he's saying, if I had Brad Johnson in the game, that's a play I'd call, so I'm going to call it with Tavares Jackson. Well, I can tell you, it is going to be tough to communicate for Jackson down here on this end.
Play clock's inside 5 seconds. He gets it off. Jackson out of his own end zone, getting back to the 8-yard line. Brought down in the arms of Colin Cole.
Well, obviously your first goal when you're backed up like that is you have to get it to the 5-yard line so that your punter can have the full 15 yards to get the punt off. Your second goal now is got to try and pick this thing up.
How big a chance do you take with your rookie quarterback here?
You know what I do? I try to get him on the edge a little bit. I haven't seen very many bootlegs. I haven't seen very many rollouts. Obviously, his running ability gives them an added dimension, and I just haven't seen that much of it tonight.
They'll play it safe. He swings it to Taylor. Taylor will get the first down as he crosses the 15, brought down at the 18-yard line in the arms of Nick Barnett.
Sort of a one-man screen on the outside that time with Steve Hutchinson out in front of Chester Taylor. Great call that time by Brad Childress to see Hutchinson just sort of sneak out in front of that one. Nobody else goes with him. He doesn't get a block, but he sort of gets in the way. That was the theory anyway.
Just the third first down of the game for this Vikings offense.
But a big one.
Yes, indeed. Artus Pinner has checked into the ball game. He's the deep back, and he'll get a carry for a gain of 1. Campman on the stop, first to get there.
Well, we've talked about how good the Minnesota Vikings are stopping the run. The Green Bay Packers been pretty tough tonight as well.
This is a big drive for Jackson and the Vikings, not necessarily get any points, but just to eat up some clock. You see it ticking down there as we move to the 6:30 mark in this ball game. If they can pick up a couple of first downs, they could make life very difficult for the Packers without scoring any points.
No question.
Pinner again. And again, very little gain. Brought down at the 22-yard line. Give it the 23.
Well, Steve Hutchinson's being used to do a lot of things. This time he comes across on a trap block here, and they try the old cutback play in behind it. And Pinner really probably waited a little too long to make that cut. The hole was back up inside behind Matt Burke. Didn't quite time that one out perfectly.
Another big third down play for Jackson and the Vikings. Weldy Moore is checked into the backfield. Jackson eluding one tackler, but he's brought down at the 25-yard line. Nick Collins coming up from his safety position to make the stop.
Boy, what a huge tackle that time by Nick Collins. It sure looked like Jackson was going to be able to scramble for the first down, but Nick Jackson, you see Jenkins with the initial pressure inside, but again, just a perfect tackle by the Green Bay Packers. And Nick Jackson, that's a kid that they really like. They think he is going to be one of the stars of the future in this league, along with A.J. Hawkins, sort of the building blocks of this defensive team.
The Vikings need a blast from Chris Cluey here. This one will take a bounce. Greg Jennings will field it on a bounce, looking for some running room, not finding much, and he's brought down at the 33. We've moved inside the 5-minute mark. Brett Favre coming onto the field, hoping to reverse his fortunes. They're trailing by 1. Coming up next, the Home Depot postgame show. We invite you to join the entire Total Access crew. They'll have postgame interviews, highlights and analysis, a few fun, a little bit of laugh. Favre and the Packers. 1st and 10 from their own 33, 4:47 play in this ball game. This is Green, not getting much. You didn't like this punt return by Greg Jennings, huh?
I don't think he should be trusted to return a rent-a-car after that punt return. Check this out. He just comes up and bounces around left and right. I mean, ball game's on the line. Go somewhere. Do something. I mean, at least if you just put your head down and go forward, you're going to pick up 7 or 8 valuable yards. It's not been Greg Jennings' best night.
Devin Hester, he ain't. Jennings fielding that one because Woodson shoulder is banged up. Changing the play at the line.
Brett caught him in a blitz. Let's see if they stay in it. Sure did. Takes a shot.
Down the field for Driver. Complete. Ruvel Martin. Martin with the completion. Down to the 27-yard line.
Brett Favre did it again with the second count. He goes to the double count. They show the blitz. He goes to a quick check and finds Martin in one-on-one coverage on the outside. That is all 100% Brett Favre right there. Pretty good blitz pickup by Ahman Green as well to give him time. Beautiful pitch and catch on the outside, but that's Brett Favre's experience that made that one happen.
36-yard completion.
Oh, boy. Somebody.
Pat Williams stacked it up inside.
Somebody please block one of these tackles. Pat Williams and Kevin Williams just wearing them out. And again, it's that zone blocking scheme where they try and move everybody off to the right, but Darren College simply cannot get there. Pat Williams just taking him and clubbing him in the back of the head, saying, are you kidding me? Taking a rookie and trying to cut me off on the backside, I'll kill him.
Giving this time Vernon Morency, and again nothing doing. This one off the left side, brought down just inside the 30. Sharper coming up to make the play.
Oh boy, did he ever. And some people question how good a tackler Darren Sharper is, and I used to be one of them. Watch this one. He must have come from about 10 yards deep, to make that play in the backfield. And again, now we're in the same situation for Brett Favre. He has a 3rd down, and this would essentially be about a 47-yard field goal as we wind down towards the 2-minute warning.
And it looks like he'll wait for that. The Packers still have 2 timeouts. Looks like they'll let the 2-minute warning be their friend here. He'll come to the sidelines and talk about it with Mike McCarthy. They're trailing by 1.
Thursday Night Football on NFL Network is brought to you by Nissan, who reminds you to ship the way you move through the world. Wendy's, get in the middle of flavor. Do Wendy's new double melt and do what tastes right.
Been a strange night for Brett Favre and the Packers. They ran up and down the field in the first half, but because of problems in the kicking game, came away with only 3 points, and then Brett threw 2 picks. One of them went back for a touchdown, and that's why they're losing 7-6 with 2 minutes to play in the 4th.
Can't take a sack here, and boy, 5 yards means a lot to Dave Rayner, the kicker. Oh, boy.
Offense, number 73, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
That was Darren College.
Oh,
again,
boy.
that was something they didn't need. We talked about some of the problems in the kicking game. Dave Rayner slipping there on a 34-yard attempt, and then missing another one later off the right upright. And then in the second half, Favre throwing 2 picks. This one to Fred Smoot being taken back all the way. He had it down close to the end zone, but Bubba Franks had that one pop loose. Antoine Winfield recovered. It has the Vikings clinging to a 1-point lead.
And Rayner needs some yards right here. This would be 52 if they don't gain an inch.
He completes this one.
Oh my gosh.
To Green.
Oh, they're going to call a hold.
Green pushed out down at the inside the 5-yard line, but this one may be coming back.
I think they're going to get Bubba Franks for a hold. And Brett Favre can't believe it.
Holding. Offense, number 88.
Oh,
10-yard
my
penalty
goodness.
from the spot of the foul. Replay 3rd down.
I mean, that happened at about the 15-yard line. Bubba Franks blocking down the field. And just as Dwight Smith started to get off of him, Bubba Franks must have grabbed a jersey.
There it is.
There it is. And that is a correct call. In the NFL, any jersey tug of any kind, when the officials are told if they see any sort of a tug, that they are going to call it. Now, the fact that the hold happened down the field helps somewhat. They at least are now inside the 30-yard line, so the play did have some benefit, but what a huge mistake on a night of mistakes by Bubba Franks.
If they pick up nothing here, Rayner is still looking at about a 43, 44-yard field goal. Favre will give it to Noah Herron, and he's pushed back. And the clock continues to tick. We're down to 1:40 and counting.
I believe that Dave Rayner's long field goal in Green Bay is 42 yards.
We're going to take a timeout right here. 1:38 to play. We come back. We'll see what Rayner does after this. With 1:38 to play in a 1-point ball game, Dave Rayner is on the field to attempt his fifth field goal attempt of the night. As you can see, he is hit from 38 and 44. 44 is where this one will be spotted. Bubba Franks, I think, has a rooting interest in it. This one's true. Packers move in front, 9-7. Bubba's happy.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, that's a good clutch kick right there. So much pressure on these guys that you feel like they're never a part of the team. They're meaningless. You make jokes about them. They read books in the lockers while you're at practice and listen to music while you're in meetings. And then all of a sudden, the entire ball game comes down to one swing of their leg. Great pressure kick. And for Brett Favre, remember how that happened. He caught him in a blitz, called for the deep route, took advantage, and made the big play. In the huddle, he was calling for somebody to make a play. Finally, he did.
And the Vikings, who've managed only 99 yards of total offense and 3 first downs all night, will have to manufacture something to try to put points on the board with just 1:34 to play in the game. They have 1 timeout remaining.
Well, they wanted to find out about Tavares Jackson. They're getting ready to. Brett Favre got his end done. He's been doing it a little while longer, though.
By the way, we should note that with that one that came back, that was still counted a completion. That was Brett's 5,000th completion of his career.
Wow.
Yeah, you got that right. Wow.
Nobody else.
Bethel Johnson at the 4. Gets it back to the 32-yard line. And Tavares Jackson has all the makings here of a storybook ending. Whether or not he can write it remains to be seen.
Well, here's a young man that in college he had an outstanding number. 79 touchdowns he accounted for, 68 passing, 11 rushing. So he's been in this situation. Not here, not against Brett Favre, not at Lambeau Field, but we'll see what he has.
Jackson in the arms of Campman once again. KGB there also. Campman got him high with what would appear to be his 3rd sack of the night. This will be holding against the Vikings.
And declined. Tavares Jackson on that one had to step up and try to make a play.
Holding offense, number 79. The penalty is declined. 2nd down.
He dropped back in the pocket, got his depth, but then never climbed back into the pocket and basically left his offensive lineman out to dry. He steps up, he's going to have plenty of room to make that throw.
You surprised they declined it rather than push him back?
No, not after the sack.
Jackson getting pressure in his face. Left side. This is Moore in the arms of Barnett. They're counting down to 1 minute now.
And he's got no chance.
3rd and 18, I'm sorry.
He's really got to step up in the pocket. He's trying to drop back to 10 yards and throw it from there, but you can't. You have to step up because they're trying to bring the defensive ends around the outside.
Tough task for a rookie.
Step up. There you go.
Jackson will run out of the pocket down the left side, trying to get out of bounds, does not. Collins and Barnett stopping him, and the Vikings will burn their final timeout.
Boy, and that was a big mistake there. He had a pretty easy opportunity to get that one out of bounds, and Brett said, oh, just lean a little left and get out of bounds. But if he continues with that action, what he did there, he stepped up, but just took off running right away. As a veteran quarterback, as he gets more down the road, if you will, he'll step up, keep his eyes open down the field, and try and throw from that step up. That time you could tell as soon as he started to move forward, he was going to run all the way.
If you're thinking about how long Ryan Longwell can make this thing, you could probably figure that his career long is 54, season long you can see there is 49. The Vikings would still need to gain another 33 yards before he would get within that range. Longwell, for years, the kicker here in Green Bay, in fact, is the Packers' all-time leading scorer. But all that is moot unless the Vikings can get 5 yards on this play. Jackson overthrowing Billy McMullen. Nick Collins defending.
And Nick Collins has made some big plays at the end of this ball game, but Tavares Jackson made that pretty easy. He looked that way all the time, and I was watching Nick Collins on the play, and he broke almost before Tavares Jackson even thought about making that throw. Looking, and the safety just got a huge jump on the ball and basically outran the receiver to the spot, Billy McMullen.
And with that, the Vikings have set a record of sorts that they're none too proud of. That is a new low for them tonight. 3 first downs. Count them, 3 first downs.
Well, the team that played better tonight ended up winning the game. It wasn't easy, but clearly the Packers were the more dominant team. And for Brett Favre, one more in the book. He did it again.
His 36th fourth quarter comeback of his career on a night that may wind up being historic, may be his final game before the home folks.
Well, I can tell you, if it was his final game, he won't sit around and watch that one with his grandchildren. that was a little dull. Until the end, it got exciting.
Favre on the night, unofficially, 26 of 50 for 285 yards. No touchdowns and 2 interceptions, one of them resulting in a Vikings touchdown.
You know, there were a lot of heroes in this one, but Aaron Campman, 3 sacks on the night, now 15 and a half for the season, continues his outstanding play, but the focus clearly on Brett Favre right now.
And with this, the Green Bay Packers keep their playoff hopes alive thanks to a 44-yard field goal, a clutch one by Dave Raymer, and few people are happier than Bubba Franks. It was Bubba, remember, who had the holding penalty that brought back a gain that would have taken the Packers down at the 3-yard line. But our final tonight in Green Bay is the Packers 9, the Vikings 7. We're hoping to have Brett in the postgame. For all the good folks here up top, here at Lambeau Field, Chris Collinsworth, I'm Brian Gumbel. Thanks for being with us. Good night from Green Bay.